Welcome to the Boy from Yesterday podcast. Just a reminder to please leave a rating and a review so that we can spread the word about the story, and click subscribe to get all the episodes and to help spread the word and share the story with maybe others who would like to hear it. And now Chapter 15, The Horseshoe. Tom was taken aback at a young lady taking his hand and leading him, which only added to the constant state of slight panic that he had since coming through the time portal. But Laurel was so beautiful, and her demeanor so benevolent to him, that he instinctively trusted her. He had three thoughts that dominated his mind: how to get his bearings in this new time, how to navigate things long enough to find the medicine or something else to help save Sam, and how to get back home to give it to him. If Laurel could help him do those things, and his gut told him that she could, he would follow her and trust her instructions. But he wanted to know why, and to learn as much as he could, as fast as he could. "But where?" Tom asked. "You'll see," Laurel said, as she looked around her to see if anyone was following them or seeing them. She startled a moment and then reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. She let go of Tom's hand long enough to type a message into it. Tom looked on, completely puzzled as to what she was doing. "Miss, what is it that you have there?" Tom said, and then worried about his even asking that question, because he knew that if the thing she was using in her hand was a common object, and this time his question would seem out of place, and he did not want to appear out of place. "Just my phone. My friend Emily just texted me. I was supposed to catch up with her, but I told her I'd be along in a little while," Laurel said, smiling awkwardly. She wanted to appear casual to Tom and not let him know that actually she was texting Emily to cover herself from a safety point of view. She had written, "Had to take care of something, all okay. We'll check in an hour or so, explain then." As they walked along several blocks from the clinic to where Laurel was taking Tom, Tom looked around trying to get his bearings. All the electric streetlights made it difficult to see the buildings in the golden glare. He was unnerved at all he saw that was different, but he recognized a few landmark buildings along the way. A million questions went through his mind as he glanced around. Why was that there? What is that? Where did that go? How did that happen? It was both a world he knew and didn't know at the same time. He knew he had to take care not to appear slack-jawed and all, but inside his heart was racing with trying to compare how he knew Chesterfield compared to the way it is now. At a certain point, Tom realized he was getting closer to the street where his house was, and wondered if it still stood in this time. "Where are we headed, ma'am?" Tom asked. "Almost there, down here," Laurel said, nodding toward the next corner. "And over here," Laurel said, as she nodded toward a site with a house toward the front and a tall barn to the right of it. Tom could barely contain a gasp. It was his house and his barn. What was Laurel doing there? He stopped dead in his tracks and stared up at the house, now painted a different color. "What's wrong?" Laurel asked, as she gently pulled him along by the hand as she led Tom up the path toward the doors of the barn. "You look like your eyes are about to pop out of your head. Relax, it's a barn." "Well, actually, it's really a very old barn that was converted into a guest cottage by my grandmother, but it still is basically a barn." Tom shook it off, feigning indifference so as not to arouse suspicion from Laurel. "This just seems familiar somehow." He gave a smile and wondered the odds of meeting a girl from the future that happened to live at his house from the past, but maybe this was all part of the ring's plan, or just a very happy coincidence. Either way, he felt relieved and felt like he finally knew something that Laurel didn't, and had an advantage that way. Laurel slid a door open and entered the barn from the side and into a little area that looked like a comfortable living room with a big sectional couch and some retro 70s-looking beanbag chairs across from a big flat-screen TV. "Chill out here for a minute. I'll see if we have Diet Coke or something," Laurel said, pointing to the couch as she turned on some lights. Tom sat down and looked around as Laurel headed to a small kitchen area and opened the refrigerator. "Ah, we're in luck," Laurel said, turning back to him. "Diet Coke or something else? I think there is Mountain Dew and a Red Bull if you need a little boost." Tom had no idea what she was saying. "Excuse me, ma'am?" Laurel thought maybe Tom had a ringing in his ears or something affecting his hearing, which wasn't too far off as Tom's head still throbbed. "Something to drink?" Laurel said, leaving Tom feeling relieved that he understood that. "Yes, miss, that's very kind of you." Tom nodded. Laurel didn't bother clarifying, but took 2 cans of Diet Coke out of the fridge and headed back over to Tom. She popped hers open and gave the other sealed can to Tom, who looked at her open can and watched her sip from it and looked down at his sealed one. He set it down on the coffee table as Laurel watched, curious. "Not thirsty?" Laurel said. Tom was about to answer with some excuse, but then decided it was no use. Time was of the essence, and he had to start trusting someone. Laurel seemed to him as good as anyone. "Miss?" Tom started. "Yeah?" Laurel said, eyes brightening and smiling a bit. "I suppose it's time that I should explain a few things," Tom started, and sat down with a sigh.